Welcome to my madness, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to be taking a look at these articulated icons, Sakit martial artist figures. Is it Sakit or Sakit? I don't know how you say it, but he looks like Ryu from Street Fighter, just in different colors, but whatever. Either way, it's a cool looking figure. I picked these up at the Fwoosh store, and I've been wanting to pick some stuff up there because they've got a pretty decent, selection of different figures, ninjas and samurais and stuff like that. A couple of figures that look maybe even a little more G.I. Joe-ish and just some cool stuff. But they're a little pricey, not to knock them or anything. I mean, they're not a big company, so they're going to sell for a little bit more. So I just really haven't gotten around to picking anything up there yet, but they put these guys on sale for like $11 and something cents a piece. I don't remember what the exact change was, and so I wasn't going to pass up on that. So I picked up a couple of them and wanted to try them out, and they look pretty cool here. Again, it does look like Ryu from Street Fighter, but pretty cool looking figure, 6-inch scale. It's got all the articulation. I've been wanting to check this out. And the reason I got two was because I also got this. And this is the Fwoosh arm pack, arm accessory pack. So you get 6 extra pairs of hands. You get a couple of wrist wrap accessories there, and you get a couple extra arms, unsleeved arms. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to deck one out with the arm accessory pack, and the other I'm going to leave the same, and we're just going to try it out and see what I think of this. My expectations are not ridiculously high, but pretty high, because I've heard a lot of good things about these figures. So anyway, let's go ahead, crack these guys open, and see what we got inside. Alright, so we've got these two guys out of the box. Let's go ahead and take a look at accessories first, so you know what you get with them. He does come with a couple of gripping hands. He also does come with, of course, because he's a martial artist, he comes with his karate chop hands, which look nice. Then he does come with a couple of his batons. I don't know what they're called. They look like batons to me, so we'll go with batons. And then, of course, he also does come with a spear here, which is, again, probably called something else, but we're just going to go with spear. So there you go. All right, so you can tell the difference between these two figures as far as what I did to it with that accessory pack. Obviously, the one took the jacket off, swapped out the arms, and put the black wrist wraps on there because it matched the black belt. Just made sense. So you've got all the extra hands in that accessory pack. You've got the arms. You got the 2 sets of wrist wraps, white and black. Obviously, with this figure, I just think the black looked better. Went ahead and went with fisted hands on both of them just for the purpose of display and the video and that kind of thing. Let's go ahead and take a look at the character up front. This is obviously the original way that it comes, and I think it looks pretty damn good. The sculpt on this is fantastic. Very nice. I think they did a great job. Looks good. The jacket looks good. The arms look good. Face sculpt looks great. Hair sculpt is crazy, but looks really, really good. And then, kind of going straight in on paint, when you're looking at the hair there, you can see we've got a nice dry brush there on the hair, which looks really, really good. I think they did a great job there. As far as the rest of the costume, obviously there's, not a lot going on here as far as paint goes. He's just solid blue. But if we come over to this one here that doesn't have his shirt on, you can see we've got a lot of nice texturing there on the skin tones, which looks really good. So we've got some shading, we've got some texturing there, and I like it. I dig it. I think it looks better than just kind of a flat plastic look. So I think they did a good job there, and you can tell it's been painted. It's not just molded in flesh tones, and I like it quite a bit. And in fact, when you look at the hands, you can kind of see, the veins in the hands popping out, and same thing on the feet. You can kind of see the texture there because of the wash that's on him, and I like it. I think it looks really, really good. So, got that out of the way. Sculpt's good, paint's good. Let's talk about articulation. We'll start down at the bottom there with the feet. So you do get your good hinge there. Works really, really well. You do get some pivot there. Works great. And then obviously you get rotation. Now, he doesn't have cuts there on his lower legs, but he does have double jointed knees. Go up to about there. He obviously does have the thigh cuts there, and then hips, straight split, man. Straight up some Jean-Claude Van Damme splits there. Look at that. Then, of course, he does have rotation at the waist, and then he's also got this diaphragm joint up here, which is probably the thing that stood out to me the most on this figure, because look how tight that diaphragm joint is to the figure. I mean, look, it sticks out a little bit there at the back. There's a little bit of a gap there, but at the front, look at that. I mean, that's just well sculpted there. And yet on top of that, look at how far he can bend over with that diaphragm joint. And then bending back, same thing. Of course, you do get that gap in there when you bend him back that far, but look at how far back he can go. And then on top of that, you get really good rotation with that diaphragm joint. So they did a fantastic job with their diaphragm joint on this. It looks amazing. As far as arms go, you do just have kind of standard, ball joint arms there. And you get the rotation and all that kind of stuff. You've got the bicep swivels. You've got the double jointed elbows, which come up to there. And then, of course, with the wrists, you do get kind of a ball joint wrist. So you've got the movement there. You've got rotation, and you can kind of move it around in any direction there. So, I mean, articulation is great on this guy. I mean, really well done. I really, really like it. Again, especially that diaphragm joint there was done particularly well. And I like that the articulation on this guy, I mean, even if you look at the bicep cuts and everything else, I mean, they've maintained the sculpt really, really well on this dude. And, still kept the articulation fantastically well done. So I'm really digging it. So, I mean, again, sculpt, paint, articulation, everything about this guy is just on point. So let's go ahead, throw this guy up with some other figures so you can kind of see where he compares to some of the other 6-inch scale lines that are out there. All right, so first up, we got to compare him to Marvel Legends, which is kind of the go-to 6-inch scale action figure line out there right now. And you'll notice that this Shang-Chi is taller than both of these guys. Not by a lot. I mean, it's not even a quarter of an inch taller, but he is taller. But what stands out to me more than his height is his proportions. He is just proportionally bigger. Legs, arms, chest, waist, head, everything is just on a larger scale. And as you guys know, Marvel Legends really are kind of 6.5-inch scale figures, not really true 6-inch scale figures anymore. That's what these articulated icons are. These are true 6-inch scale figures. So when you try and pair them up with Marvel Legends, it might look just a little bit off. Not too bad. I mean, these don't look horrible together if they were on the same display, but if you're paying attention, they do look just a little bit off. And that kind of goes into something else that I played around with behind the camera, which was trying to do some head swaps with these guys and some other spare Marvel Legends heads I had, and all the Marvel Legends heads that I had just looked way too big for these figures. So that's definitely something you want to take into consideration if you're looking at picking these guys up, maybe to do some customization. All right, so now we're going to go in the other direction just a little bit here with a Figma Captain America. And he's actually a little bit smaller than both these guys, and small enough that you actually notice it. While I do think the proportions here are probably a little better than it was comparing these guys to Marvel Legends, still it is noticeable. Both of these are true 6-inch scale line action figures, but the proportions, specifically with the head on this Captain America figure, are considerably smaller, which makes the whole thing look off. All right, now to compare them to a Mezco figure here, of course, we've got the X-Force Wolverine, and height-wise, these work perfect together, but then you get into proportions again, and Mezco figures are kind of short and squat and wide. Look at the size of that head compared to the size of the head on these two articulated icons figures. Obviously, yeah, height-wise, they work. Proportionally, not at all. All right, so now we get to what I think is the sweet spot for comparisons with these articulated icons, and this of course is the SH Figuarts Captain America. When you look at just proportions, head, chest, waist, arms, legs, looking at height, looking at everything, these figures just look great together. And I do think that when it comes to consistency in true 6-inch scale sized figures, SH Figuarts has kind of done it better than anybody else. In my opinion, you may feel differently, but I think they always hit right where they need to when it comes to size and proportions, and I think that makes them a really good choice if you're going to get into collecting imports or other true 6-inch scale figures. makes a great choice to get into that. And when you look at the comparison here between these figures, you can see what I'm talking about. All right, so now let's get into price. We're going to talk about this from two perspectives. One, what I paid for it. Two, what retail is on this. Like I said, I paid $11 and some change for this. I don't remember exactly what it was. Let's call it $11.99. At that price, I shouldn't even need to explain anything about why you should get these figures. It's $12. I mean, at half the price of a Marvel Legend, hell, you shouldn't buy one, you should buy 10 of these. These are fantastic figures. Sculpt, paint, articulation is on point with these guys. They're fantastic figures, and $12 is a steal. There should be no need to convince you at that price, and as of when I'm making this video right now, they are still that price. Now we get into retail. On the Foosh store website, it says that full retail on these guys is $39.99. Now, I have a feeling that's just a price they put up, but you never actually pay that much for it, because I see these in local toy and comic shops all the time. Not this particular one, but a lot of their ninja figures and things like that at around the $30 to $32 mark. So I'm gonna go ahead and just put it out there that you could probably find these for 30 to 32 bucks. Shouldn't be too big of a problem. And also, just judging by a lot of the other prices that I saw on the Foosh store website, that $30 to $32 seems to be a pretty good standard, but full retail is listed at $40. So at $30 to $32, is it worth? I would say yes. I would say it's worth at least having one. Certainly wouldn't tell you to go buy 10 of them like when they're $12, but these are really good figures. They're really nice, and I think there's a lot of potential here, just with the accessory packs and lots of other stuff, that you could have a really cool display on your shelf. And because this is a much smaller company than a Hasbro or a McFarlane, and honestly, with the prices of those now being 25 bucks, paying an extra $5 to $7 for something like this to get something from a smaller company that's doing great stuff, I don't think that's a big ask, and I don't think that's a lot of money, and I think you are still getting your money's worth at that price. So at the $30 to $32 mark, I would say, yeah, it's still worth it, at least to have one. When you get into that $40 marked retail that I don't even know if you would even pay for, I start to have a little bit more of a problem saying it's worth it. At 40 bucks, this figure's cool. Great paint, articulation, sculpt, as I said, but there's not a lot going on here. He doesn't really come with enough accessories or plastic in general for me to value it at $40. But I guess if you think it is cool, I personally wouldn't. So that's kind of where I fall on that. Look, I'm really happy that I got these. I'm glad I got the accessory pack because I like the two different looks for this character. I think they're going to look really well on my shelf, and I'm very happy that I was able to get them at a really good price, and highly recommend that you go check out Foosh Store's website and see if you can pick some of these up for a really good price as well, or hell, just see what else they might have on sale or in stock, because I think these are cool figures, and I'm glad I finally picked up some articulated icons because I've been wanting to pick them up for a while, and now I have, and I've been pleasantly surprised. So I would love to hear from you guys down in the comment section down below. Let me know what you think. Do you have any of these? And if you do, what do you think of them? Or if you don't, are you even interested in them? If you are, why? And if you're not, let me know that too. So that's it, guys. That's my opinion on these figures. Hope you enjoyed it. Appreciate you guys watching as always. And always remember to enjoy your collection.